Hey guys, so what I wanted to do today was I wanted to go over your 2020 AP testing guide. So I'll go ahead and be sending out what College Board has released about what to expect for your exams, but there are some parts that I wanted to go over with you just to make sure that you understood them. So what we're going to be going over, we're going to talk about something called an AP exam e-ticket. Next, we'll talk about your 5 steps to take before your exam day, what to expect on your exam day, and then also any questions about exam scores, credit, placement. We'll talk a little bit about that. About your AP exam e-ticket. So you're going to need an e-ticket to test. For all of your exams, you should be receiving an e-ticket in your email. It's going to look kind of like this, and it'll have your AP ID, what AP exam it's for, the date and time of your testing, and then when the time comes, you'll be able to click go to the exam. That way you can check in. If you're not receiving College Board emails, you'll need to log on to myap.collegeboard.org in order to either access your e-tickets or to change your email settings. That way you are getting your stuff from College Board. The thing that's special about these e-tickets is that they are very secure. You can't send them out, you can't take pictures of them, things like that. It will invalidate you taking that exam. Next, your e-ticket is going to be valid for the May exam schedule. You can see right here for AP Biology, the exam is going to be Monday, May 18th at 1 p.m. And this is the schedule for all of the AP exams. You can see physics is first, and then it goes to Latin and calculus and so on. So all of these e-tickets will be for your May exam. If something happens, I'll talk about that a little bit later. There are going to be some June testing dates, but it's going to be our last week of school. So I encourage you to go ahead, take your exam in May. That way you don't have to worry about it for June. What to expect on this year's exams. So they're not going to be harder, even though they're just FRQs. You can still earn a 3, 4, or 5. And just like your other exams, if you maybe miss a part, maybe you run out of time, you can still earn a 5. So I know that was a concern for some of y'all because the exam is going to be much shorter. So on old exams, if you didn't finish all your multiple choice, if you got some multiple choice wrong, maybe you didn't finish the FRQs, you could still earn a 5. You can do that for this one too because your AP exams aren't curved and you're trying to show us exactly what it is that you know. So I'm going to go over next 3 different ways that you're going to submit your answers because I know that's a concern for some of y'all. And with all of these, there are going to be some things that you do need to make sure to do. So for example, your AP ID, you need to make sure that's on the top of all of your documents. You need to make sure that you put your initials on top of all of your documents. And if you have multiple pages, make sure you put the page number on top of those documents as well. So option 1, if you're using a laptop, you're using a desktop computer, what you'll do is you'll have multiple windows open. You'll have your window that's your exam testing submission page, so the one from College Board, and then you'll have another window that's either going to be Microsoft Word, Google Docs, wherever it is that you're going to type up your answer. So you'll have your AP ID and your initials at the top, and then you'll begin typing. Once you're done, what you'll be able to do is you can copy everything that you typed and then paste it into the exam window, and then you'll be able to submit that way. So something to keep note of, for your exam window, you can use any internet browser except for Internet Explorer. It's not going to work with Internet Explorer, and you'll be able to test that when we do our demo next week. Option 2 is very similar to option 1. You'll type up your answer. You'll be able to save it to your computer. So maybe you'll have a folder that says AP FRQ answers, and then you'll have a thing for AP Bio question 1, AP Bio question 2. You'll have your AP ID and your initials at the top of your document, and you'll have that document saved. Then you'll be able to attach that document, and you can see right here for your AP exam, you'll be able to attach the document just like you would for email. You need to remember, if you do it this way, it needs to be in a .doc, a .pdf, a .txt. Anything else will not work. So it has to be like, for example, in Microsoft Word, Google Docs, things like that. Lastly, maybe you don't want to use your laptop, maybe you don't have a Chromebook, something like that. Maybe you have your phone and that's what you want to use, or if you have a tablet. You can actually handwrite your answers on a blank piece of paper. It can be lined paper, it could be a printer paper. It has to be vertical, okay, so you can't write horizontally. And you'll do the same thing. You'll write your AP ID with your initials, but also make sure, put a page number on it. You can't go over 5 pages per question, so just make sure your page numbers are on it so that way when the reader's reading, they're reading your pages in order. So you'll handwrite everything. Make sure you use a dark pencil or a blue or black ink pen. And at the end, what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to take pictures and then attach them as photos. So you need to make sure if you attach it as a photo, it's as a JPEG or a .png, so nothing unusual. 5 steps to take before exam day. That way you're ready. I'm going to go over each of these one at a time. That way, if you have any questions, you'll be able to ask me and hopefully I can clarify what your question is. First, review your contact information. So I heard that some people aren't checking their emails from College Board, so make sure that you are receiving your emails from College Board. If not, you're going to log on to My AP Classroom and you'll have a profile check on the upper right-hand corner. Click on that, make sure that your email is updated, and then you need to click on the subscription box so that way you get emails from College Board. Step 2, check your tech. Figure out what device you want to check in on, that you want to complete your exam on. Do you have a laptop? Do you have a Chromebook? Do you have only a phone or your tablet? So what is it that you want to use in order to submit your answer and do your exam? Be aware that if you're using a laptop or a Chromebook or anything like that, plugins usually don't work, especially, for example, the Grammarly plugin. Okay, those will not work. You're going to have to disable those before you take the exam. If you're using your phone, if you're using your iPad, make sure everything's updated. Also, prepare your document if you're going to type or you're going to handwrite. If you're going to type, make sure that you have Microsoft Word, Google Docs, whatever it is that you're going to use. Make sure that you're familiar with how to use it, how to save, things like that. If you're going to handwrite, make sure you have your paper nearby, you have pens and pencils, you have plenty of them. That way, if your pencil breaks or your ink runs out, you won't be wasting time looking for stuff. On May 4th, College Board's going to put out a website called cb.org/apdemo. For those of you that don't know how to submit responses, or if you want to check, and I would encourage you to do so, I'm going to do it as well on Monday, so that way I know how to do this too. You're going to get on this website and you're just going to submit some sort of practice response. It's not graded, it's not associated with you, it's just going to be like a practice ID, so that way you know how to submit your answers. Maybe you want to try, are you going to be better taking a picture and handwriting? Are you going to be better typing? Maybe you want to try both of them so that way you can see. So you'll be able to practice with that, and it'll also tell you if there's something wrong with one of your devices or your computer, and so that way you can fix that before the exam day. What you're going to need, this applies to all AP exams. You're going to need your e-ticket, you're going to need an AP exam day checklist, and I'll show you what that looks like. You'll need your device, make sure your device is plugged in. You'll need a browser. Okay, Chrome is recommended. You can use some of the other ones, definitely not Internet Explorer. Make sure you have your internet connection, and make sure you have Microsoft Word, Google Docs, whatever it is open that you need. You are allowed to use class notes, study guides, textbooks, anything like that you can use. Just make sure it's not shared. It cannot be a shared document. You can't have shared it with your classmates. You can't have shared it with your parents. It has to be something that's downloaded on your computer. So for biology, you will need your formula chart. So I'll send this out. I did give out one to everybody at the beginning of the year. If you can't find it, then just make sure that you have this. You can either print it out or you can look for the one that you have. So if we're looking at this exam sheet, the formula chart, so we did go over chi-squared. We've gone over law of probability. You guys lucked out. Hardy-Weinberg is part of evolution, so that's not actually going to be part of the exam. Same thing for these right here, rate and growth and Simpson's diversity index. That's part of ecology, so that's not part of the exam. We did go over water potential when we talked about biomolecules, so that's up for a fair game, and surface area and volume. So just make sure that you have this formula chart on hand. You can use additional resources. They don't recommend searching online. You're wasting a lot of valuable time searching, trying to find your right answer, and reading through websites. And you could get flagged, for accidentally copying and pasting just because you read something and you're really quickly trying to answer, and maybe your answer is too similar to the website. So it's just a smart idea not to do it. Just have your notes, have your textbook, whatever it is that you feel comfortable with. So, that way you're not wasting a lot of time and you can feel confident in your answer. May 4th, I told you guys that's when we're going to be doing our demo. I'll make sure to make that announcement on Google Classroom. And then 2 days before each exam, you're going to get an e-ticket. So if you're taking 5 AP exams, 2 days before each of those exams, you'll get your e-ticket. This is what your AP exam day checklist looks like. It's going to have a list, am I ready to test? It's going to tell what you need to do. College Board recommends that you check this checklist every time you have an AP exam. That way we can make sure nothing goes wrong. And it'll also have your AP ID on here. What is exam day going to look like? So over here on the left, this is for 1 question exam, so English and history. Over here on the right are 2 question exams, so this is us. It doesn't matter if you're doing 1 or 2 day, 30 minutes before your start time, you'll use your e-ticket to check in. So you'll check in, complete your identity information, and wait for your exam to begin. For biology, you'll have 25 minutes to answer your first question. At 25 minutes, your question will pop up. You'll start to answer your question, and then you'll have a 5-minute timer saying that you need to submit. After you submit it, just wait. Question 2 will pop up. You'll have 15 minutes for question 2. Same thing, 5 minutes to respond, and then you're done. That's it. Make sure you're somewhere quiet. Make sure that your devices are plugged in. Tell your family that you're testing so that way they don't bother you. If you have somebody that likes to stream, like Fortnite, Netflix, whatever it is, tell them to hang off until you're done with your exam, so that way you'll have internet connection and you'll be able to submit your answers on time. Okay, this is what your ticket looks like. You'll put your AP ID, you'll hit continue, and it'll give you a timer until your exam starts. This is what it's going to look like if you're going to be handwriting and submitting an exam answer. So you have your AP ID on top, you'll have your initials, you'll have the page number. Make sure you label which part you're working on. Some of y'all still forget to do that. Make sure part A, part B, part C, and so on. You'll have a timer on how much time you have left to submit your work, and then it'll start flashing red whenever it's at 5 minutes and you need to make sure to submit. Make sure you hit submit. It will not autosave. If you do not click submit, you do not give your answers to be graded. And you can see the submit button is going to be in yellow. You can either attach a doc, you can attach pictures, or you can copy and paste your work. So if something happens, let's say that your parents forget, they barge in and you lose your concentration, you can request some makeup. So you go to cb.org/request makeup. You need to do that 48 hours after the exam. If not, then you forfeit that chance to do the makeup. So lastly, whenever you do your demo next week, you'll be able to check your tech. Is your browser correct? Is everything updated? Do you have any plugins that's going to block you being able to access that exam? So like I said, I'll go ahead and send all of this out. It's a really long document, so hopefully I was able to make it nice and concise for you guys. That way you can be able to test confidently. So I know you guys are going to do great. I'll remind y'all next week to go ahead and run that demo, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.